really
Knowing
was.
your worth, understanding your worth and bringing your worth to the market. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. Geez, my audio went off. The thing was blaring in my ear. Thank the Lord, my mic goes muted when we actually start the show, or when we actually do that. So, knowing your worth, brother, big topic for today. Full disclaimer, full transparency for all y'all. I didn't get a customer for today because I was on vacation last week. Never got a hold of any customers to see if they'd come in today. So today it's DJ and I talking about knowing your worth. Gosh, DJ, it's a deep topic, and to cover it in 30 minutes, I don't think does it justice, because you just said it so well before we hit go live. That you tried to fit into this box, and I did the same thing. I saw the highest, I'm sure we've talked about it. So the number one sales guy wore a shirt and tie, and I didn't even own a suit. I didn't even know how to tie a tie. And within 6 months, I've got thousands of dollars in suits, and he hooked me up with his suit dude, and
of course,
closet full of suits, and I'm wearing suits at happy hour.
Right? Now you made it. You're there.
Yeah, but I mean, yes,
you didn't feel like you, right? You didn't feel
it wasn't
like
me. Yeah, exactly. And he, and it's funny because here's one thing I also see a lot, is that imposter syndrome, where people are like, Dan, I got Gordon Greco. Yeah, Ryan said it right. Gordon Greco. It's when I first started, and maybe you're the same way. It was like, I'm looking at what these salespeople are doing.
Yes.
And I'm just like, how can I do that? Like, it's this perspective that, I guess the best way to put it, and I know I'm fighting for words here because I'm trying to, is we always compare the things we're not good at to something somebody else is really good at.
Yes.
Right. And then we just immediately say to ourselves, I suck.
And to start there, value. So we'll start there with value. Comparing yourself. I heard this. I can't remember where I heard it, but when you compare yourself to others, you're either superior or inferior. So don't compare, because you're comparing yourself, and you're either going to compare yourself one way or the other, but it doesn't win either way, because you're either only can compare yourself to make yourself you're superior because of how you're comparing yourself to others, or inferior. Either way, you're defeating yourself. Don't compare to anybody else. Be you. Compare yourself to you.
That's why I love golf.
Yeah.
Golf is not a sport where I have to beat anyone else. I have to beat myself.
Be yourself.
I have to beat my mental game first. It's the one sport. I mean, I'm not sure if there's another one. I'm trying to think, but like hockey, for example, team sport, right? Other people around you, which is a great lead into what we're going to talk about, elevate you or deflate you. Right. I've been on both ends of the fence playing hockey. I've been on both ends of the fence playing soccer. I've been both ends of the fence playing football growing up. It's like, you either have a group of people that lift you up, and even when you're lifted, it's like they grab you and they just strap rocket boosters to you and catapult you into space.
Yes.
Or you have people that tear you down.
Yeah.
Right. And golf for me is the only sport where it's like, okay, one day you'll go out, you'll play a wicked round, and the next time you'll come out, you're like, I got this shit. Like, this is an easy game, and it teams you pretty damn quick,
Yes.
And I think sales in life is like that as well.
Yeah.
I'm DJ. This topic of knowing your worth is something that I'm a huge proponent on, because we all have something special, and we've talked about it before.
We do.
The world
Every
needs
single one of us.
what you have, right? Like, the world needs, and that's why, people like Tony Robbins. Yeah, sure, they're very popular. They got tens of millions of followers, but there's hundreds of millions of people on the planet, and there's people on the planet that don't like Tony Robbins.
Exactly.
His message is not congruent with what they want. They'll go with a the late Bob Proctor. They'll go with the late Wayne Dyer. They'll go with
So glad you
Simon
went there.
Sinek. They'll
Yes,
go with, you know
yes.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's, even though you could be like the top, highest paid this or top personality for that, it's like we were
You're
just
not.
talking about Matthew McConaughey backstage. I think
Yes.
Matthew McConaughey is one of the greatest
All
actors and
right,
people on
all
the
right,
planet.
all right.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
all right, all right. Yes, sir. And and to me, that's like, he's awesome. But other people are like, oh no, The Rock or Kevin Hart or Ice Cube or, all this. I
And
know.
they're okay to do that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's yeah, we're getting into that. And so the reason this started, I shared a post on LinkedIn, and I'm going to read it real fast just so everybody kind of understands why we brought this topic up. But it's father said to his daughter, "You just graduated. This is a car I bought a while ago. It is a few years old, but before I give it to take it to car to the dealer in the city and sell it. See how much they offer." Girl came back to the father, said they offered €1,000 because it looks very old. So just because it looks very old, they offered $1,000. Father said, "Hold it and take it to a secondhand car dealer." Girl returns, takes the car to pawn shop. Pawn shop offered €100 because it is very old and lots of investments are needed to drive it again. Pawn shop. Okay. So again, different boxes, different areas. Father asked his daughter to join a passionate car club with experts and show them the car. The girl drove the car to the passionate car club, turned, and said to her father, "Some people in the club offered me €100,000 because it is a rare car, it's in good condition with great capabilities and super difficult to find." Then the father said, "I
Mm.
wanted to let you know that you are not worth anything if you are not in the right place. If you are not appreciated, do not be angry. That means you are in the wrong place. Don't stay in a place where no one sees your value." That's
Mm.
and it has blasted all over, and here's why, guys, because we're all in our own ways staying. If you're unhappy with your circle at all, with your closest five, with any feelings that you're having in life right now, evaluate the people around you, evaluate yourself and what you really think of
And
your
that goes to
true
your
value.
business as well.
Oh,
If you're not happy
absolutely.
with your business, evaluate your customers. Now, a
Yeah.
LinkedIn user actually came back and so totally showed me up here, but listen to this.
Uh-oh.
So no, but it's so true. Skateboard, snowboard, scooter, etc. Perfect example of individual sports where 90% of people try to be better than they are, so competing against themselves. So whoever you
Yes.
are, 1000%.
Love it.
When
Yes.
when I was young and I was a skater, it was like the boys and I would just try, like, we all day, and I've got like major lacerations on my shins to prove it. That all day you're trying that kick flip to rail slide. All day you're trying, like we try and try and try and try. And those it's absolutely right. Perfect examples.
It's
Snowboard, skiing, even to the actually, you know what? Geez, like snowmobiling.
yeah.
Last week, it's all I did. I went over the handlebars 27 times trying to get
But you
something
try.
right. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Try.
it's but going back to that post, so if we look at this from that
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
right? So you go to a generalist, a secondhand car dealer.
Yeah.
There could be more to that story because that secondhand car dealer could very well have known all I got to do is take that somewhere else, and I'm going to get €100,000. So it's an investment. I'm going to try and weasel my way
Bingo,
into
and I
this.
and I and I think that was kind of the key.
Yeah.
And we might have those people. They know you might be one of the greatest salesperson if you're a salesperson, greatest CEOs, whatever you are right now, and you're listening. You might be the greatest, but and they know you're the above you, your team, your surroundings know. But they're using you. I've been in those situations so many times, uh, and it feels like that. It feels like they're using you. It feels like they're taking advantage of because they know that you could probably do exactly what they're doing, but they don't want to tell you that or make you feel that way. So they kind of make
So
you feel
here's a
something
question,
else.
DJ. Okay, so here's a question because before we started, we talked about us in the beginning of our careers being in a box that wasn't ours,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I literally duplicated everything about the top salesman at the
Me
company I
too.
worked at.
Me
Like,
too. I thought I
I
had to
mean,
copy everything. Be a dick.
and
I
literally
thought
to
I had to
the
do
way he
everything.
talked, yeah, his attitude, the way he treated people, like I duplicated everything. And I
Yeah.
had quite a few friends go like, "The fuck do you think you are, man? Like what is wrong with you?"
Yes.
And I'm sure I've lost, like if I
Yes.
were to go back and reconnect with those friends, I'm sure it would have been like, dude, you just became somebody that you're not. And you asked
There
something, you
you
said,
go.
and did you make it? And it's funny because part of me says we have to go through these things
We do.
in order to have that contrast or that individual perspective.
Yeah.
um if we talked about personal and professional development, and we talked about mindset coaches and lifestyle life coaches and this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing in that industry is you kind of have to go through those issues.
Yes.
I mean, the late Bob Proctor used to always say, how would you know a good paycheck if you never got a bad paycheck? Right? How would you know good people if you never met bad people? And you wouldn't. You need that contrast. Now, again, by saying that, I'm not saying that you need to go out and copy somebody that you're not, but I also think it gave me that realization that I got to be me. And some
Yeah.
people won't like me.
Yes.
So, and especially
And
you
that's the
talk
thing.
about
Yes.
sales.
And it's
Some
okay.
people don't like
It's
me.
okay. They cannot like you. If they don't like you, that's say, yeah, I understand.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
I think so. Millman is where a lot of this came from. And this guy is amazing. I mean, this guy is 75 years old. At least on the episode of Lewis House. Shout out to Lewis, but that I was watching. And this guy's 75 years old. He looks like he's 40 years old. He lives life like he's 40 years old. And just going because I love quotes as much as he does. It sounds like, but so because he spits them out a lot. One quote he has: "You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you." I think
Mm.
that's he mentioned one thing that honestly I listened to a lot of those people prior to hearing him say this, and it kind of woke me up. But we by meditation, by different things, we think that we can control our thoughts. We're always going to have negative thoughts. We have so many thoughts throughout the day. We're going to have bad thoughts. We're going to have good thoughts.
Mhm.
We're going to have evil thoughts. We're going to have mean thoughts. We're going to have every thought you could possibly think of. We're in control of it in the end, to a point. Like he said, our brain doesn't have a spam filter on it. It's not taking out the negative. We just can't let it control us. We can't let it control
Well,
our
it's
actions.
like they'll come less often, and they won't stay as long.
Yeah.
When you
Yes.
start,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
for lack of a better
You're
term,
so
Bob
right.
Proctor used to call it mastering your thoughts. But like even him, he says, like, listen, I've been to the pinnacle of careers, star of The Secret, da da da. He goes, and I still wake up and have thoughts of I can't do that. And he goes, and that's when I have that thought, that's when I know I'm on the right track. He goes, like when I wake up
Yes.
in the middle of the night and sit on the end of my bed and I'm scared about that goal, that's when I know I'm on the right track and I know I got to double down on it. But
I like
that
that.
brings us to knowing our worth, right? And
Yes.
and like the topic of the show today is, y- you know, taking that idea of what our true value means to our market, to our family, to our friends, to like
Yes.
and even as an
Everybody
individual,
around you.
I have a box that I sit in work. I have a box that I sit in on friendship. I have a box that I sit in with my family. I have a box that I sit in with my friends. And I do believe those boxes are ever changing as we
Absolutely.
grow.
They have to. Yeah.
The boxes that I sat in my early late teens, and then even in my mid 20s into my mid 30s, are a different box that I sit in my mid 40s.
Yeah.
And I think it's imperative that we don't get too attached to that box, like meaning our identity get too attached to
Yes.
that box, because I do believe
It's
things
the
come
only
into
thing we
our
have
life.
control of. That's the thing we have to remember. In the end, it's the
Yeah.
only thing we do have control of. What we do or how we respond or react to things is the only thing in the end we have control of. We can't
Respond,
control
not
what
react.
happens. We can't control what somebody else does. We can never do that. So
No.
we can only control who we keep as company and what we do
Hmm.
and how we respond to it. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I think we talked about this last week about self worth and and I think I agree because of my experience with it. I think obviously it's you knowing inside of you, but even more, you have to really surround yourself with the people that bring that out of you. Um,
Hmm.
the people you have around you can really help kind of bring that for you and really build your worth, your value.
You know what?
Like
It's
that
funny,
story kind of
DJ.
says.
I never used to believe that. Full
I
transparency.
didn't
I
either.
always thought
It's
if it
me.
had to be, it was up to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it and it was
Always.
a, I'm the one that's going to take my life to the destination I want it. I'm the one that's going to, and it was always and I
Yeah.
lived like that for eons, like what felt like eons.
Yeah.
Um, and it was always nobody could help me. Nobody could help me. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to listen to a podcast, or I'm going to go to a conference of
Yeah.
a mentor, when it's really they're helping you. But this whole I can't do. I'm the only one that can do it. And you know, the more and more we elevate our education and our learning and our perspective on this, the more and more I realize a salesperson with 3 months experience can teach me something. and
Absolutely.
and it's if you look at guys like Gary Vee, right? And Gary Vee will be the first one to tell you.
Yeah.
I say 5 things. I just say it in 500 different ways, but I talk about 5 things, right? And so I have my DD5:
Yeah.
sales strategy, personal development, industry news, productivity, stickability. Those are the only 5 things I will ever
Always.
talk about.
All day, every
And
day.
why? Because it's just you just say it in a different way. And he's the first one. I mean, you look at
Yeah.
all the personal development stuff on the planet. It's a regurgitation of the Napoleon Hill, of Emerson, of Wallace Waddles, of all these core people that really created this framework of personal and mental and professional development. And
Yeah.
everyone has a different spin on it that puts things in their box. And some people are tuned into that. Like some people, it's Emerson. Some people, I mean, you look
Exactly.
behind me, I've got oodles of books. Some people say, "Oh no, Zig," like Zig is
Yeah.
the one.
Yeah.
Where Zig, the more people you help, you'll get where you want when you help more people get what they want. Well, no,
Exactly.
Napoleon Hill said the same thing before Zig Ziglar was even alive in
Yeah.
his book Think and Grow Rich, right? So,
Exactly.
and it's nothing against Zig. It's we all have this. We all read it. We interpret the information, and we formulate it into our own saying that works for us. We put it in our own
Exactly.
box, and those
Yes.
people
I'm
that
so,
see the value in us come into our box. And that is not just influencers. That is not just people standing on stage. That is not just anyone. It's
that's
you
all
making the
of
phone
us.
call to your customer, to your prospect, to your friend, to your spouse, to whoever, and just saying, "Here's the box." Like, and this is really the core nucleus of a customer profile.
Yeah.
Because when you look
Yes.
at it, and when you really think about it here for a second,
Yes.
we say, your customer profile you'll avoid the pain of failure, right? Because if they're not your ideal customer, then you move on, you learn or move forward. But also, it's getting that right people on the bus, like Simon Sinek said in it's about your
Yes.
why.
Exactly.
It's getting the right people on the bus. So you get the right people on the bus to start. Those right people, like what you said in your story, where join the passionate car club. They've joined the passionate DJ club, the
Whatever.
passionate Dan
Yeah.
club, the passionate Ryan club, the passionate Lisa club, the passionate Jeff club, where
Exactly.
it's like these customers are congruent. And Richard Kay, the CEO of CEO Space, once said, Dan, he goes, congruency is key. And it's a big word that not very many people use. He goes, but congruency is key. When you see eye to eye, he goes, think about it. Like all your friends, you and I, DJ,
Yeah.
when we met within a month,
Oh. That,
I think we've talked probably 30 times that month, maybe
yeah.
20 times that month. But
Yeah.
it's as if we'd been buddies for like a decade,
Forever. Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? And it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's congruency. And
Yeah.
here's the big thing is if you feel, for everyone watching and listening, and any part of your life, if you feel people aren't showing you your worth, or if you feel unworthy in situations, pay attention to the source is one thing I always say. Look
Yes.
at the individuals you're dealing with. If
And
you,
think of
I've
what you're
lived it.
doing first, though. Think of you first. Always reflect. back to you first. Am I
Yes.
the one causing this? Am I the one causing these feelings,
Yeah.
or is it them?
Well,
And
and the whole, but also, are you taking what they're saying
yes,
maybe a
and
little too
twisting it.
hard? And well, but
Exactly.
yeah, twisting it, but also realizing who's the source saying this.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
think of
Is
like
it? Is it?
you want to talk online, for example, you post something online that's truly passionate to you, and somebody comes back and makes a stupid ass remark.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, okay, you look at it, and trust me, I've ran ads on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I've had people come back and go, "Oh my god, you are such an idiot!" Like taking the time to call me
Yeah.
things I would never call anyone.
Yep.
And I read it because I'm thinking, oh, oh my god, I got a comment. You got to reply to the comment. So it's like I read it and I'm like, whoa, like I'm trying to share a program that actually changes people's lives. But then I stop and I say, Dan, pay attention to the source. This
Yeah.
person has probably said the same crap on 50 other people's stuff. He just hates the fact that, there was one guy going, you shit on my timeline, I'm going to shit on yours, and I just said, just because I was like, I have to see this. So I went to his Facebook page. His whole Facebook page is yelling and calling Facebook arseholes because they allow people to post ads
And that's
and pay
because
for ads. But
in
hold
the
on,
end
DJ.
they're not
He's on
happy.
Facebook. So
Yeah.
get the fuck off Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't
Yeah.
like it, don't use it.
It's
And
destroy.
it just
Yeah.
kind of, and that kind of just went, okay, now I know who this person is. Delete. And I didn't think a second of it. Right. So Nigel says, good morning. Always be authentic.
Morning,
100%.
Nigel. Yes.
Good
Be
morning
you.
and be
That's
you. Yeah,
right.
100%. Lisa, let others guide and be the guide. Yes,
Amen,
100%.
Lisa.
And you've got always be learning, always learning. I have 4 different people that I learn from, 100%. Jeff says, good morning. Morning, Jeff.
Morning,
Jeff
Jeff.
says, make sure they have their seatbelts on before you roll.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Jeff says we
I
don't
like
see eye to
that.
eye. No, we don't, buddy. We don't. That's okay. You got way more hair than I do.
That's it. That's it.
I'm
Hey,
already
different
jealous.
boxes. Different
Yeah,
boxes, different
protect
people.
your being. You know what? That is key, Lisa. Protect your being.
Yes.
Social media is a toxic wasteland. Okay, so John, you're on social media right now watching us.
Uh-oh.
So it can't be that toxic. Okay,
Uh
so but did you see? Do you
and
see that?
I'm
No.
so
Yes.
glad you
So
said that. So
yeah,
back to Lisa real quick. Protect your being. So protect your being. Yes. In the end, you and here's the thing, guys. This up here, we know everything that we've done and didn't do, or what we did wrong and didn't do wrong, or what we thought or didn't think, or what we forgot to do, or what we really are the only ones. We really are the ones beating ourselves up the most. We really are the ones putting ourselves in different spots, and it's those around us that help us realize that that's not us. Just because we
mm,
thought that, made that decision, whatever we did. And so that's where, yeah, you're right, Lisa. Protect your being, but even more, make sure you're around those that help you protect it when you can't yourself.
it's funny that what you just said there brings up something that happened to me in the latter part of my career, probably about 6 months before I decided to start high performance logistics sales.
Mm.
And as you know, I'm a huge proponent on customer profile, ideal customer, right?
That's what I
And
love.
we were doing massive numbers in my department, and there was an issue with a customer. And I remember my team lead walking in and going, "Do you have a second?" I said, "Yeah." And she says, "This is not your ideal customer." And I said, "Okay, explain to me," because I everything in me wanted to say, "Are you effing kidding me? Like, go get back!" Like, but
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, explain to me." And for 20 minutes, she explained the inner workings that I didn't see as the salesperson because I'm not in the operations day to day. And she
Mm.
goes, and so this, and then this happened. And this is the way they responded. I went, oh,
Mm.
okay. I had no idea. Bang, bang. So my perspective at the beginning was this is a really good client. I don't hear. And here's the thing is I don't hear any issues with it. The client's not bringing up issues. I'm not getting calls from the client. However, it's being dealt with in the back end. So they
Mm.
took that information, they put it into a box because they said we can't approach Dan because he really likes this customer. And the fear of the
Mm.
team was I'm going to choose the customer over
Yeah,
them and tell them to deal with it. Now, most would because it's a good paying customer.
absolutely.
Anyways, I ended up saying to the customer, okay, listen, here's the situation. My team has advised me of this. if we can't fix it, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. And we're talking like 25 loads a week. Like it wasn't small business.
Yeah.
And I said, but I just can't. I can't. And he didn't even know. The guy I dealt with didn't even know. So he ended up going back and straightening things out. But you talk about putting things in a box and then having people around you that lift you up. That team lead lifted the entire team up by stepping up and
Yes.
figuratively stepping up and coming into my office saying, listen, here's the reality of it. And it was amazing the respect and the camaraderie that increased in that team when that happened.
I
Like
love it.
it was like this instant when we came out, we brought the other members of the team in and I said, is, like, give me straight scoop. I want it right from the horse's mouth. And
Right.
they were like, bang, bang, bang. And when they left, it was like they left as this united, empowered front that knew their worth
That's,
in the department they were in. And me being the leader or whatever you want, it's the sales, whatever the bullshit term you want to put it as, the leader of the department. It's like when I went to bat and said, da, 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 not happening. Not with my team. They're worth more than that. I know they're worth more than that and they don't deserve to be treated like that. That empowered them to do amazing things. So even to that point, we've talked to EJ multiple times about
I love
sanitizing
it.
pipelines. We're having conversations now for Inception with some of the largest logistics companies on the planet to get like hundreds and thousands of people into Inception.
Well,
And
don't wait. No.
but the one thing that they're saying, and I'm asking, like, what's your number one goal? Profitability. One of the companies we're talking to literally fired almost 30% of their customers because they're like,
Wow.
you take up way too much time for the margins that you're in. And I said, it's interesting. What does that do? He goes, our entire team knows their worth now. And that's worth more than
Yes.
anything. And he goes, and it's profitability, yes. He goes, but we fired customers that would have taken team members away from us because their worth was being diminished by these customers. Now you think of that for a second. Like we're talking major corporations that could literally like bury companies in 3 seconds flat. And
Wow.
it's their team came first over the customer. And they said, listen, we want to be profitable, but we'll be profitable. And this is one thing Rob Cardine at Transcend Freight Systems, when I first moved to Ontario, taught me. He goes, Dan, at 105 trucks, we made more money than at 165. There was less stress. Like 105 was the number. We went to 165. We dropped it back down to 105. We got rid of 60 trucks. And we were at 105 trucks and we ran massive electronics. We, round trip $9-10 a mile, round trip numbers. Like we made large, but we served a bigger, not a bigger, sorry. We served a unique box and not all customers fit into that box. Our mission statement became, we are going to serve certain people and certain people only. That was literally the number one piece of the mission statement because it's like,
Wow.
we're
Yeah.
not the cheapest. We're not
Yep.
never going to be the cheapest. If you're looking for the cheapest, keep looking because you'll find them, but
Absolutely.
it
And
won't be
and
what you're worth.
yeah, yeah. And Jeff said it. That's a boom moment. That
Yeah,
is a boom moment.
diamonds are rough, Dan. John says, and then Jeff says, "Yeah, it's a boom moment, 100%." I love Jeff's boom. Uh, it is. It's that empowerment, and I would suggest anyone that's listening, if you're truly unhappy in your career,
In your career, in your
analyze.
life, and
Well, yeah, I mean, let's just talk careers for a second because I think I'm not a social whatever you
yeah,
would like
yeah,
a counselor or anything,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
can tell you in business because I've lived it a million times. If you're unhappy in business, it's because you made the wrong choice to bring in the wrong people. And I'm sorry to put it that way, but that's the reality of it. When I hated this industry, the industry didn't change. The industry's always been quote unquote cutthroat. The industry's always been, there's always going to be customers that want the cheapest price.
Always.
I did not do what I needed to do as a professional to ensure the future of my business. That's the reality of it. So if you hate this industry and you hate your business, maybe you hate your colleagues, maybe you hate your company, you have the choice to make that change. You have the choice to say, you know what, I know my worth and I know what I can bring to the table. And what I
Yeah.
can bring to the table is not this. Like, I don't deserve to be treated like this. I don't deserve, because I'm sorry. I mean, DJ, I don't know, but I know you and I have had the conversation. Like, I hated this industry.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting here going, no job, no company, broke, going, what the hell am I going to do? I got a grade 9 education. All I've ever known is transportation. And I remember Rico Rakoski, who a lot of you have met,
Rico.
um, set me up with this vibration coach. And he says, and I got it. I want you to go to this person. And I got it. And the first thing this person said is, you're dealing with the wrong people. She goes, I could tell just the way you talk about it. She goes, because you've had a love for it before. You're just dealing with the wrong people.
Yeah.
You look at professional sports, you look at all these kind of things where when you have the right people around you, the team wins. When you have the wrong people around you, and listen, it takes one person to create a virus in a company. One person.
Yes. One person, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jonathan
it's so good.
Douglas, great reminders and points.
Yeah.
100%. So,
All right.
sorry, DJ, what do you got to close us out? Comments though, not necessarily a quote just yet. I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Really just, yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. Whether it's your team, life, work, whatever you're doing, if you just feel like it's not right, like there's something missing, something wrong, something you're not clicking, you're not excited, you're not energized to do what you're doing. Just really first evaluate your self worth. Evaluate. Am I getting from everybody that's in my surrounding right now, my team at work, my team wherever? Am I getting? Uh, are they making me feel like I should? Are they making me feel what I'm worth? Is there something missing? And if there is, listen to that. You have to listen to that. I
And
think
it
that
could be
was
sometimes the toughest decision you make in the moment, which becomes the best decision you're ever going to make.
yes, amen. Yes, you're so right, and that really is, yeah. Um, Again, guys, I hope you
What
liked it.
quote you got?
Like us and subscribe down below. Again, don't forget our guy Daman at American Logistics and Centurion Trucking. If you're a Canadian broker looking for a new home, if you're not happy, you're not shining like you should. Because here's the thing, guys, we're all special. We all have powers. We all just need to be us. And when you are your true you, I promise you, everybody else will see it too.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but so to take us out, I have to lead with the guy I started, end with the guy I started with, Dan Millman. Another I call him a little YouTube mentor. Um, our self, our sense of self worth is the single most important determinant of the health, abundance, and joy we allow in our lives. Remember that, guys.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.